secrets revealed, and what are they, or what are you holding in your relationships? That's what we're going to talk about, people, tonight. Secrets. What you got in your back pocket? This all stemmed from Jazmine Sullivan's IG Live. But before we get into that, let's get it started here. Welcome everybody to Jump Off Live. I'm that dude named Dave. And let's go around the panel here, a little housekeeping here. I got to my right, my man, JD. What's popping, JD?
Yo, I'm good. Let's get it. Jump
J
off.
Dizzle. My other right, or you can say he's my left, Johnny Dangerous. What's popping, my man? You on mute, my friend. Hold on. Let me unmute you.
Bam! Okay. I said we popping up in here. It's Wednesday night, hump day. We here, we live. We got Mikey and Dr. Zoe with us. We popping.
Hi.
Yeah. So if you ain't joined us, you better get involved. And you better call somebody else to get involved as well. Let's do it.
All right. We got Dr. Zoe Stallings back. She's been out of pocket for a few weeks. Welcome back, Doctor.
Thank you. Missed you guys.
Yeah, we missed you too as well. And then, of course, we got our other resident, Mikey, Men's Integrated Journey. Mike's Philippine Journey. Well, you got so many channels now, man. You're blowing up on the YouTube spectrum. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just relaxing right now. Let's get it started with.
Look at you, your low-key voice, man. Trying to sound sexy like Drake, man. Let's get this going here.
I wish I was sexy like Drake.
We might talk about Drake a little bit later on tonight. We might get into that, with his little shenanigans going on right now. But let's get it in, fellas and ladies. We're going to talk about Jazmine Sullivan, and she had an IG Live last week asking people their deepest secrets that they did not reveal. We're going to get into that, but I want to lead into what we're going to talk about here individually here, because we're all in relationships, whether we're married, seriously committed, or except for Mikey. He's the true bachelor of the crew, but he's been in the game. He knows what's up. So I want to start off by talking about each and every one of you. Have you guys held big secrets in your relationships and possibly never revealed them? So I want to go around the panel real first here. Let's start off with JD, my fiery brother here. Do you have any secrets in your past relationships that you have held that you say you're gonna take to the grave right now?
Do I have from my past relationships like
Let me state this. You don't have to tell details you don't want to, guys. But if you do, hey, let it fall. But do you have secrets like, you know what? Man, I didn't say this one. I feel a little dirty about it. I shouldn't have done that.
I don't keep secrets. I don't operate in the secret realm. I think before, in a previous relationship, I had secrets, and as time went on, I felt like those secrets could not be told. And currently, in my current relationship, I don't have secrets. I pride myself on not having those types of things to deal with anymore. So like when you have those levels of guilt, when you have those levels of, man, I did this, that, and the other, or I feel bad for thinking this, that, and the other, those things bring a relationship down. And if I don't have those things to worry about, I think they make my relationship better. So my focus right now is making sure that I don't do things that I have to keep secret. And I think that's what helps me along my journey currently.
That's the man, JD. I don't know about the kid, JD. College years, JD.
Oh God!
Come on now.
College JD has some secrets. College JD has some things that that went down that shall not be unearthed.
Oh, so they're going to the grave then, JD. So you're telling me that you got secrets going to the grave?
I have secrets. Yes, I have secrets going to the grave. Yep.
Are you thinking about them right now? Is that why you're laughing?
Yes. And I mean, honestly, it's part of growing. It's part of maturing. And like, I think my getting out of a relationship where I was married for multiple years, it's nice to be at a place where I have a clean slate. It's nice to not have different things weighing on my mind, or trying to keep a lie, like Martin said, keep a lie alive. Like, it feels so good to not have to worry about those types of things. So I refuse to mess that up at this point. I just can't do it.
Okay, so you telling me that right now you feel happy and free just put it all on the table. Just put it on the glass and say, you know what? This is what I got going on here, JD. So this is me, not holding it back. I'm not feeling that nasty pit in my stomach right now.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of freedom in not having to deal with guilt. There's a lot of freedom in not having to bog my mind down with trying to cover something up or trying to hide away from something. I never did anything that crazy, but there's some girls that I messed with in high school that I don't want to, to get out there, of course. But yeah, and now that I think about it, it's nothing really, overly big, but yeah, I think everybody got secrets.
Now, before I go to Johnny Danger, that's why you named Dangerous, because I know you may have a few in your back pocket, bruh. But before I do, though, we gotta do some house cleaning. Come on, people. Gotta need that HBO special. Click on like and subscribe, hit that bell notification, because when you click on that like, you help our algorithm so that people like you get to check out this show and y'all can be part of the community. Shout out to James. Shout out to Farsight. Hey, what's up, Mark? Y'all doing it? And Raw Dog. What's that? Law Dog? Hey, man, what's going on? Glad you joined in here. Once again, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. That's our housekeeping, because you know what? We're not charging y'all. So the price of admission is the like button. That's all we asking for. Price of admission, click like. Now, John, we know you have a strong relationship with your wife. Lovely woman. Love y'all two together. You got a strong family. But before her, secrets, bruh. You got something that's going to the grave?
Well, first of all, I like how you worded that. That was nice. And thank you. I appreciate that, that compliment, brother. Let's define secret. Secret, okay. The definition of it is not known or seen or not meant to be known or seen by others. I was going to say before I looked up the definition of that just some things that just shouldn't be talked about. Something that has no purpose to be talked about, once you're in a relationship. But that's the definition of secret. So I can't do nothing but laugh at that. Wow, do I have secrets? I think I would have to redefine the word secret anyway, as Johnny Dangerous. I'll have to redefine that. Because a secret is something to me that that you don't want other people to really, really know. And it's not so much as that I have things that I don't want other people to really, really know. I'm a purposeful man. If it has purpose, I believe in putting it in its purpose. It's certain things that doesn't have the purpose of being said, and so by my definition, there are certain things that I believe just have no purpose of being said. It doesn't help or promote any positivity or virtue. Here's the other thing too. As I've gotten older, particularly in my relationship, what I love about my wife is that, sometimes things come to your memory, come to your mind, and you just start talking about it in regards to what happened in the past, particularly relationships. There's been things that I've thought of that have happened or occurred in past relationships that just come to my mind, and I begin to talk about it. And what I love about my wife is that she accepts those things, and she quite often she finds them very humorous. So yeah, I guess by your definition, by the true definition, Webster, that there has been secrets that I've held, that I've exposed over the years of being in my relationship. And that's the beauty of being in a long relationship, is that at certain points in your relationship, not even time, you can start talking about things that happened in your past. And if you have a good relationship with your significant other, they'll accept it for what it is and won't hold you, won't hold it to heart or won't hold you against, hold it against you for it, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense, John. I appreciate that. We're going to get to James. I like what you're doing here, James. We're going to get to your comment after we get going here. So we're going to hold that thought. So don't think we're forgetting about you. I like that question here. So, man, John, that was on point there, what you said there. So I want to add that and then we want to go to Dr. Zoe because we were on the phone yesterday. I won't talk about your secrets. You have to spill them out on your own, because I'm not snitching on you. You got to snitch on yourself here. But if you're willing to do it tonight, but
I'm willing to go there. So
okay,
I think secrets. When I was younger, I think that I was more interested in pleasing others and trying to be something that, how do I make this? How do I fit what this person desires? And so sometimes I would kind of go along and just, oh, sure, I like that. Or a little harmless. I think of them as harmless secrets. But what I learned over time is that it's a burden. It's also takes away from open communication because now you got to think about, I can't tell them that. So I rather just, now that I'm newly minted 40, I'd rather just be free and live my best life, total transparency. But I will tell y'all, back in the days of Black Planet, I don't know if I'm
Black Planet. We met on Black Planet. Oh, we owe now. Oh God.
No,
way back in the days of Black Planet. It is really hard to explain why. It's hard to explain my motivation, but I was dating someone and I thought, I wonder if he really likes me. So I created 2 profiles on Black Planet, one that was regular me and one that was the me that wanted to question him secretly about whether or not he likes me. So I was talking to this person and we were actively dating. So we go out in person and I get back home and be like, so what were you doing, to see if he would comment on what I was like to this strange person on Black Planet. Well, anyway, needless to say, I switched profiles and I was going back and forth. And so the gentleman started telling me the exciting Portuguese and Black woman that I pretended to be, started telling me about myself that, I'm dating this girl, but she's kind of boring. I'm really not sure. She's kind of nerdy. I was like, I'm kind of nerdy. So I kept talking to him and he started telling me how he liked me more, but it's still me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's me being me, catfishing me. I don't know how to explain it. So needless to say, I mixed up the profiles and logged in as myself, the boring one. And he realized it was me. So the secret was out. The lesson I learned from that is you will get caught up with secrets. But there are some things, like JD said, some things don't need to be said. Like, I don't talk about my last relationship and what we did and who was better and, all that stuff. If a man is asking me all those questions, that's a problem for him.
It's a part
it doesn't need to be said, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I need to divulge private things that were experienced in the last relationship, because that's between these 2 people. I don't need to tell you what me and the last person were discussing in private pillow talk, because that is sacred. I also don't think if I have a relationship and someone tells me to hold their secret, sometimes people confide their secret to you. I have an obligation to keep that secret if I agree to it. And that might mean you keep that from your spouse. So I think that secrets have levels, and I think they can be very damaging, but it depends on the intention. If someone says to me, I'm going to tell you this thing, I don't want you to tell your significant other, I will upfront say, I'm going to tell them. So if you don't want them to know, don't tell me. I start with that. You don't want me to tell this man that I tell everything, then don't tell me, because you're telling us. And that's okay to say and let that person choose. But sometimes, people confide in you. Now, as a physician, I keep secrets all day long. People tell me there are things and they're protected by HIPAA. I will not divulge your business. But in my personal life, transparency is just easier. It creates a more fluent conversation. I like to talk and I'll forget who I said what to. So I try to keep it real and keep it honest.
So let me get this straight here. So you were out here creating burner accounts before we talk about Katie's burner accounts.
I was ahead of my time.
You creating Black Planet burner accounts.
The original burner account.
Oh man, so just my thought. Oh boy. Okay, you got me on that one. Hey, shout out to JR. Welcome to the chat. Catrice Brooks. Wait a minute, is that the same Catrice I know, Zoe? From your friend from back in the day?
Yeah, let me see. Catrice. Oh, Catrice is on here.
Oh snap! I've been seeing you in about like 16 years, Catrice. Maybe it's been that long, but thanks for joining the show. That's what's up. Let's go to Mikey now. I don't know if you have any secrets, Mike, because you're an open book, but I'm just kind of curious. What you got going here? Were you holding them to the grave, or you just open book?
No, I mean, like I think I agree. Once you start getting up there in age, I guess you start saying that, you know what, it's just a waste of energy having to like hide certain things, right? But in the end, secrets are in a way eventually going to be lies when somebody asks you the question, right? So when you create a secret, you're actually lying already. It's the beginning of a lie, because once somebody asks you a question and you decide not to you decide to withhold it, then all of a sudden it becomes a lie. So I've learned enough that, you know what, I'll just go ahead and tell everything as it is. And if the person is going to judge me for that particular thing, then that person is not worth having around me, pretty much. Now, when you're growing up, when you're trying to meet certain individuals, when you're trying to, I don't know, expand your network, sometimes people will hold on to their secrets because they're afraid that they're going to get judged for it. And in the end, when you are always having that fear of people judging you, then that means you're going to end up lying to people nonstop. And I agree with Dr. Zoe said. You need, sometimes you forget who you told certain things to, so that can be very hard for you because you're going to get discovered later on. So I would rather just tell people the truth. And I think when I saw you were going to be bringing up that one question that one person said earlier, I think James or something. That's one of the biggest thing that a lot of people lie about. I mean, and what are you going to do when that gets brought up? And the thing though is, the funny thing is, a lot of people want to know these inner dark secrets of their significant other. And my question with that is, why ask somebody when you don't really want to know what the answer is? Like, don't ask a question if you don't want to know the answer, really. If it's gonna bother you. Because the thing though is, what happens is, when you ask that question and then somebody tells you the answer that you're just like, oh my God, I cannot believe I heard that. And then you use that against that man or that woman. And when you use it against that person, you still, for some reason, well, I'm going to still accept them. This is the funny part, with people that still keep relationships after they hear that red flag that they don't want to hear, but then all of a sudden use it against that person so many times. And so that's, I think, why a lot of people don't want to share those inner dark secrets, because they know in the past it was used against them, or if it was used against other people around them.
Very true.
Good point, Mike.
Good point, Mike.
I like what you said. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Mike, it's only a problem if that person is not the answer to that question. Hey, baby, who's your greatest of all time? Who's your number one?
And every woman lies.
I've answered that several times. I'm like, but I always say, it's like, you know what? You can always, at one point somebody was better than the other, so you can be the person that can beat the record. You
can work towards being that number one, right?
Exactly. But the thing is, I'm sorry, like, and this is for men and for women. Understand that there's always somebody better than you, even though your woman or your man settled for you.
Let that marinate.
Say that again, Mike.
Hey, repeat that bar again, Mike.
Understand that the person you're with, more than likely, they know that somebody was better than you, but they settled for you.
More than likely, you say, right?
Because the thing is, like, how many, I'm just gonna say, how many times can a guy say that this girl rocked my world back in the days, but he's not with her? Like, she was the one that rocked my world, but that relationship didn't end up the way it is. But you're with the current person you're with right now.
So you're talking about like the highlight reel.
Yeah, the highlight reel, exactly.
Okay.
Us men talk about this stuff, and I know women do because I speak to a lot of women about it. It's, you hear women and men say that, man, my man does this to me, but this dude back in the days tore it up.
Because that dude is toxic.
But that's the biggest problem. Most of the time is the people who were the most memorable to you are the most toxic for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not toxic.
Sorry, I was on mute. You know what? I hope you're not toxic, John. I mean, that would not be a good look, brother. But I want to go back to the question here. Let's actually comment on James here. It's gonna lead to it.
No,
Wait, JD,
no,
what you got,
no,
JD?
no.
No, we don't got to answer it. I want to
No.
go to the question.
No.
Why not, JD?
Because Dave, you ain't answered the question.
Oh,
I'll
you're talking
answer
about,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you, brother. My brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. God, Dizzle. Do I have any secrets? Oh, hell yeah.
You got the stage.
I got the stage. Man, before I locked it down,
Run that.
I was a hoe. I'm not gonna. Let me put it out here. Everybody who knows me personally knows that I was raised in a cult. So for years, I was living this one lifestyle, and then when I got older, I started to slowly, kind of get away from it. And you're kind of living two lifestyles. So here I am living this Christian, supposed to be on one side, this Christian holy roller. On the other side, we were smacking cheeks on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? So
Good times.
I mean, so, the people who thought, that I was this, he loves God and he's doing the right thing. He's such a good, clean man and things of that nature. Man, I had 3 or 4 chicks, in the same week, guys.
So you wasn't a garden tool. We need to make sure people understand where you're coming from.
You can call me a garden tool. I own up to it. I'm open about mine. You can say that I'm a garden tool. I'm a kitchen tool. I'm a tool in the garage. I'm a tool in the backyard. I was just a tool, baby.
So you got down, low, and dirty.
Well, not down low. Let's get that. Let's make that right here. Words matter. Words matter.
It's not
John.
the Atlanta down low.
Yeah, let's keep it one here. So but on the real though, like parts like secret, that was just my only thing. Like once I got old enough, and my thing is I didn't finish college, so I started working early. So in my demographic, all my dudes were in college broke, and I was dude had a few pennies in my pocket and had a car. So that made it easy for me to get them skins. So
that's how I used to get food on the weekends.
Was that so?
David had money when I was broke.
So my major secret was I was a hoe out here in these streets before, now, 4 or 5 in a week didn't matter. And they didn't know it. They thought I was the only one.
But what's the definition?
Damn shame.
Because isn't everybody have their own definition of the garden tool?
Yeah.
What's the definition? Because that's the biggest problem. I think somebody needs to be able to come out, and there needs to be a collective of people saying that, okay, this is the definition of what that is. Because you're going to get shamed by a woman or by a man if you say, oh, I've been with more than 5. If my body counts 5, then you're going to, then there's people with a body count of 10. Then you have the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and so forth. But the thing though is, I mean, it's to the point where people are celebrating your count. I mean, I don't know if you ever guys see that one video where the girl hit her 40 mark and her friends bought her freaking a cookie pie.
Well, what about the porn star who had 80 bodies before her senior year in high school?
I never heard about that one, but
Tiana Trump. You can pull up her video. She talked about having 80 bodies before her senior year.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's the biggest problem is that, and listen, I get it where women are now claiming their sexuality and that respect. Like I'm not going to diss on a woman who says that her body count is 40. She's owning it. Go own that. My thing though is, men wise, not all men will talk about their body count. Among us, each other will talk about it, but we're not going to publicly say it. We're going to say, okay, we've been around, we're tools, whatever. But you start seeing more in general where women are actually celebrating it, like parties, they're having cakes, they're having, all these different things. And I'm like, so what's the body count? What do you guys, for your definition, would be considered a tool?
Are we talking men and women, Mikey? Let's separate it here. We're going to answer for men first and then women, or women men, or you want me to have that all in one?
To me, honestly, it should be the same.
But it's not.
Okay, fine. If you guys want to separate it, then separate it. You guys can determine.
I think we should separate.
Okay, fine. Separate it if you guys want to. What's your definition of somebody who's a straight up tool?
I might say something that's gonna be controversial.
See?
Yeah, I think if you're a grown,
because sorry, go ahead, Zoe. My bad.
No, I was thinking that if you are an adult and you're you've been dating, you meeting people. It's a process of elimination. That number can add up pretty quickly. I think that this whole idea of a fixed number, and people are, a lot of. I remember there was a time when I used to see young women in the office that were so embarrassed that they were still virgins. They were like, "I'm still a virgin. Oh, I want to have sex to just get it over with." There was a pressure to still, not to not have a number on the body count. So I think that number to me is irrelevant, because the fact is, if you are dating, getting to know people, eliminating, and you're very upright and forward with the person, you say, "Hey, you're not the only person I'm seeing." I think it's perfectly fine for a woman to be, handling multiple dudes at a time. That doesn't make you a hoe. I think our society is such that women is a term, hoe or slut or whatever, is thrown on women so easily, when, quite frankly, depends on your intention. I mean, maybe you're filtering these, going through like, I don't like him, I like this guy. We're spending time together, we're going out of town with this one. I don't think a number will really capture it. I think the intentions, I always go back to the intentions. If you're making foodie calls and, you got to, you get enough meals and you got to pay out, man, all right, look, let's talk about that. Is it transactional? Are you doing it for a bag? What's your situation? I'm not one to judge, but I really think we need to stray from this idea of saying a number is too great, because you might have some women who have a low count and a man would be like, yeah, she ain't got no experience. I ain't got time to be teaching this 45-year-old woman how to turn around and take it this way. She's only had 2 dudes. So boring.
So if you're 45 with 2 dudes, no dude's taking that. You ain't getting wife with 2 dudes at 45. You might as well get a cat and die alone.
Damn, man.
Are you plagiarizing somebody's lines? Is that
okay? Get a dog. Get a dog.
He changed it.
If you're 45 with 2 bodies, you do not know how to date. You do not know how to have sex. No man wants to deal with that.
Oh, you were in 2 long-term relationships.
But yeah, so I mean, look at that. See, a lot of guys like body count. Like for me, wise, I agree. It's not about how many. It's not about. Just think about it, right? When people say that a woman, let's say a woman or a man is used up, just to be fair on both sides. The question is not how many people they've been with. I mean, the thing though is like, they could be in 5 years. Let's say in 3 years' time, they can be with a woman. Let's say can be with 5 different dudes, but only went out with them once or twice or had that affair. So that's a total of 5 dudes times twice. Let's say they went out, did things. That's 10 times that she was sexually active. But then you could have the other one, and where the fact that somebody has been in long-term relationships and they've had multiple, let's say they do it 3 times a week. To be fair, 3 times 52, that's 150, 156 times in a year, times 3 years, that's 450 times that they've done it, in average, whatever. So the question is like, sometimes it's like, I look, each person has to make their own decision on what the body count is. And I completely agree. It's the situation that it actually happened on how it is, how many times. And this is the problem where a lot of people just worry more about the numbers, the body count of the men or the women. And in the end, each person, or in the end, does it really matter to you, or are you going to still stay in the relationship?
Right.
Yeah,
are you going to stay in the relationship? That's it.
People are always focused on the wrong things. I was going to say another word, but yeah, people always focus on the wrong things instead of focusing on the body. First of all, I mean, really, to ask a woman how many dudes she's been with, you got to think about it. That's the maturity level. You know what I'm saying? If I can remember being younger and thinking about that, how many dudes this chick been with? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's really a young thing, because in the end, Dave mentioned earlier, if you got a 40-year-old woman that's been with 2 dudes with no experience, you know what I'm saying, that may be totally unappealing to one guy, but another guy may be like, man, that's the kind of woman that I've been looking for. You know what I'm saying? So body count really does not matter. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, what boils down to is that person's loyalty to you. You know what I'm saying? Is she still collecting bodies while she's with you? Or are you the only body that she getting with while she with you? You know what I'm saying? That's
the body. The body count better pause when she with the right person.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Stop the clicker.
Right.
Get what I'm saying? That's what really matters. But if she's still or he is still collecting bodies while y'all still together, then that's a problem. That's a problem. That matters. Body count matters.
Yes. Hey, John, I want to step in on that. I want to go to JD after I chime in. Reason why I said what I said is because I had a situation years ago where it was an older woman, but my friend tried to hook me up with this older woman. You know, it's like, hey, she lives somewhere, you know, there's no dudes out there. It's literally like a situation with like population of 9 to 1, not even in Atlanta. So I'm hollering at her, and she's a lot older, and she has literally one body on her. One. Now, let me tell you something. No man who's experienced wants to train an older woman like that. Only time you want to deal with a woman who has no experience, unless she's a virgin. I'm going to keep that 100. If you in your 40s and you got no sexual experience, no dating, I'm not the one for you, or any dude who's really trying to be out there, because that's going to be a world of hurt, people.
No, you got a good point, but it depends on her.
And they said, I'm using a personal situation, though. Like I said, not every woman who's 40 may have one dude. She could have married her high school sweetheart, and, you know, like that. I'm talking about the woman who had one body and only had sex like 3 times.
Yeah, because she's an anomaly that that somebody might find, you know, feel like they found a diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying? So
well, let me throw some comedy here. I won't say her name. She literally told me, "Let me run for the hills. I don't care if I have sex or not. I just want to find a man." I was like,
she don't want to keep him.
Oh, you can come back now. He just left the room.
She literally said, "I don't need to have sex." I was like, so just saying though, we talk about body counts. It works both ways.
Yeah, true. It's a beauty though in molding a person, a woman.
Hey, JR, before I go to JD, JR, you asked me how you train a woman. It's called a couple of sessions in the bedroom, JR. We can talk about that. So offline, so we don't get demonetized on YouTube. Okay, you know, so don't want to do that here. JD, real fast to you before we turn corners to our main subject here.
I don't know. I got nothing at this point, man. Like I got nothing. I feel like it's all been said at this point, man.
Cool. All right, before we get started here, I want to say shout out to JR. Thanks for coming in, man. You know I gotta mess with you like that. Shout out to Pedro, man. I'm glad you came back to the chat, man. Your peoples, man, your family. Glad you're in. Farsight. Shout out to the Farsight. Denise Smith. Hey, Zoe, is that your sister?
That is my sister. My sister in New York. She's tapping in.
All right, got family joining in. We got a lot of new people coming to the show here. That's what's up here.
Yeah.
So
this is our first time tuning in. Oh man, that's beautiful. Welcome. Like and subscribe.
That's right. You family here, Denise.
Yeah,
so
sister of Zoe is a sister of ours.
That's right.
Indeed. We love you.
So
love at first sight.
So a little bit of housekeeping here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. So let's move on here for the main subject of tonight. And like I brought up in the beginning here, Jazmine Sullivan, R&B singer. You know, she had a successful album. She had like a hiatus. She didn't drop an album for like 6-7 years. Then she dropped her album called Hotels. You know, not hotel, but hotels, you know, about situations, her relationships. She admits the wrongs that she'd done and things of that nature, and her experience and learning as she grows older as to a woman. So she had this IG live and wanted fans to reveal their deepest secrets here. So I'm gonna put the article on the screen here. So let me just do this here so people can know who we talking about here with this Jazmine Sullivan. If you don't know who she is, let's do this here. Bear with me for 1 second, people, while I put this on the screen. And then boom, and then there. Here we go. So this is Miss Jazmine Sullivan, R&B. The album's pretty good here. So her IG live came out and everybody was revealing their secrets. Some were, you know, it's like, okay, we know about that. And then some of these secrets were like, wow, what the hell is going on, people? So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to put some of the memes on the screen, and I'm going to want all of our reactions. And you know what, though? I want to open up to the chat too as well. We want to know what y'all think about some of these memes here with people telling their secrets here. So I'm going to put that in the screen here. Give me 1 second here. Let me stop that. And then here we go. Can y'all see that? So this first one I'm putting out here says, I was catching his daddy's you know what before I was catching his. Let's go to Zoe. How do you feel about a woman saying, I was catching his daddy's you know what before I was catching his? That means she's messing with the daddy and the son.
That's some real strawberry letter type thing. Like, that's just a mess. I don't even, I can't even understand why. That's not even a secret. That's just, they need some help.
JD.
Yeah, that's not something that I could I mean, whenever I look at these types of situations, the first thing I think of is stress level. Like the stress level in a situation like that has to be immense. Like I couldn't think of trying to mess with and keep that secret and having to have the person's father or mother in my situation or something like that, like keep the secret, then I got to keep the secret. And like, if something happened, somebody gonna want to start telling, and like, oh, why would somebody invite that type of drama in their life? I don't understand that. I don't get that one.
John, catching the daddy and the son, but not the Holy Spirit.
Catching some kind of spirit.
Well, she's catching both spirits. Let me put that. How about that, right?
Man, yeah, that's wild, man. That's what they call ratchetness right there, for real. You know what I'm saying? But the question is, how does the dad and the son feel about it, or how will they feel about it? They might be cool with it.
They're Eskimo brothers now.
Yeah. Different strokes for different folks. Wow.
Mike.
You know what I'm saying? Keep it in the family.
What you got, Mike? You're laughing hard there about the Eskimo brother comment there.
Dude, I was just watching The League today. So
you were?
I was watching The League today. So that's funny. I just started season 1 again. So that's what's making me laugh right now. But no, well, she's a time traveler. All right, she's a time traveler. She's the girl who wants to experience what's the potential on her current man. So she's like, let me taste the daddy because my man right now is gonna be this guy maybe in the future. So what she's doing is she's living in potential right now with the current man. She's gonna settle with the son, but she's like, but she's fantasizing about the future, what this guy's gonna be when he gets older and he becomes riper and becomes better of a man. So she's like, let me taste the future. So she got with the dad. So she's a time traveler right now. That's this girl's. You can timestamp that on her for this one. But in the end, no matter what, right? If you look at the dynamics on this thing, number one is she's messed up in her head, obviously, because she thinks that she can hit both. Then the next thing is, the worst part about this whole thing is the dynamics between the father and the son. What type of father would prey on the son's woman? But the thing though is, if I'm reading it out, I was catching his daddy. Before I was well, so she got with the dad first then. Well, yeah. The dad, well then, you know what? Right here alone, more than likely, she thinks she's laughing about it, but the father and son is like, son, let me give you some of my leftovers. Let me show you what, I didn't read it fully. So she thinks she's time traveling. She thinks she has this big secret, but more than likely, the father and son is more than likely the father showing the son how to handle a woman. And he's like, you get the spoils of the alpha in this, son.
Let's go to, that's a good point. I didn't think about that, Mike. Time traveler. I got to borrow that one there. All right, let's go to the next one. Woo child, I had a double homicide on him with 2 different men. Now, first, do you guys know when a woman says she had a double homicide?
Nope.
That means that she had 2 abortions by 2 different men and her man doesn't even know it. That's what double homicide means.
Okay, first off, she shouldn't even be referring to it as that. Like I'm done with her before I even figure out what the rest of what she's trying to explain is. That's ridiculous. Who referred to an abortion as a double homicide? Like that's.
Well, 2 of them. Well, it'd been a homicide, so she had 2 of them, so it's a double. So
come on, man. Come on.
Hey, Zoe. Is that a medical term that you've heard? I mean, I've been out. I'm not in these streets like that, so I don't know if your clients do they say like I'm perform a homicide or something like
I've
that.
never
Or?
heard that. But also, why are these people so quick to just? It's like they just waited for this opportunity. Like, oh, Jazmine Sullivan asked me to tell some stuff. Let me run out here and say these things. It shows just how callous people can be. Because that's something that if somebody said that about this person, like say somebody tagged her picture and said that about her and blasted her, it's a completely different response.
Right.
I'm being bullied on the internet. How could somebody say that about me? You know, so that's the thing. It's like when people crack these jokes about themselves, they do it because they feel anonymous. They feel like, yo, it's the internet. It's like you're trolling your own self. That's kind of weird.
Social diary. You know what it is, though? Attention. Even though we don't know who it is, it's attention. Babies cry for it, grown men die for it. And that's what it boils down to. Yeah.
Say it again, John.
I said attention. Babies cry for it, grown men die for it.
Bars. I'm going to the next one. I was part of a train that was run on her sister.
No, no, thank you. No, thank you. Like this was just at this point. If this is true, you're horrible. You're a horrible person. I'm not judgmental with people, but that's a horrible person. And if it's not true, there people are just out there trying to say the wildest thing they could think of at that point, because that's way over the line.
It's like clickbait.
Mike laughing hard.
Well, I would almost agree that maybe somebody's overdoing it here, but not to say that these things don't exist. I mean,
they probably do happen.
I mean, these things happen in high school. This is a high schooler. This happened during high school because that's when trains be happening anyways. So like, I mean, but
Mike knows.
But no, I've never participated. Oh. I've only walked in on accidental incidences. We'll say that.
Wait. You walked in on a train?
Yeah.
How are you walking on a train?
House party.
Okay.
You know, rainbow. Rainbow lipstick parties and all those things. Whatever. But the thing with this is that more than I don't know. It's like this is the problem with some men, and I will almost guarantee this is a young dude talking like this right now, and this is unfortunately a bad tone on what these young boys, these young men, are giving and allowing people to then criticize the whole men as a bunch. Because this one right here, men should literally beat the crap out of this dude for letting this kind of stuff out. Number one is like, I'm sorry, like for guys that participates in these type of events and stuff like that, it's just repulsive to me. Like, you cannot, I will guarantee you when that thing was occurring, it had to have been under the part of people under the influence of alcohol or something. Because, unless a woman is a porn star getting paid for it, I don't see any woman this crazy enough to participate in this type of an event. So, like, it's just unfortunate. And, I hope that sister moves to out of state or something, because,
I never seen anybody go that far, but I have seen sisters make out before.
What?
Like, disturbing.
Disturbing. Blood sisters?
Yeah, like legit blood sisters. Like,
where were you at? Is this in your parts of Iowa?
I don't live in Iowa, but these girls were from Iowa.
Wow. That JD has confirmed. JD confirms that he's in Iowa.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not in Iowa. But no, like legit, they would do like, it was like their party thing, and I'm like, that's not cool, nor is it attractive, nor does it make me go like, oh my god, I want to get with that. Like, no, it was no all the way around. And wow. But yeah, no, I can vouch for something like that too. I never seen them do anything other than that, but they would make out like it was cool.
But dudes are so nasty,
somebody liked it. There was a lot of people who liked it.
Yeah, man, that's wild. I don't know if y'all knew about it or not, but like a couple of years ago, I think it was actually on some kind of news platform. there was a mother and daughter that would make out in the same sense that you just mentioned, JD.
Ooh.
Wow, a mother and a daughter. Wow. But
Well,
it's a lot of nasty guys out there.
On to the next meme.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. We rented in a house I bought 4 years ago. He doesn't know. He just deposit rent money every month. So the man thinks they renting. She owns it, and she's collecting all those rent checks from her man.
Zoe sound like she got something to say about it.
Yeah, like, are you
I
part of the
think-
crime zone?
All I'm thinking is the scenario. Okay, so she owns and she's collecting rent.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he has a bit of a spending problem, or maybe he's a gambler and she's doing this as a way to like create compulsory savings for the two of them.
Huh.
Nah,
I'm just saying there's a possibility there.
I there is a possibility. So I am gonna have to side with Zoe on this one. That's a good argument. But 3 more years, they separate. He owns half of it.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
guess
that's
what?
Hey, common law, right, Mike?
Yeah,
Yeah,
common
that's
law.
reasonable.
And guess who has more money and more assets? She does. So in the end, he's like, give me half of the house.
Hey, that sounds good, but we know typically that's probably not going to happen. And if she's that manipulatively smart to where she can get rent from him on his own house, on her own house, and he not know about it, he's probably not going to be smart enough to collect half at the end of 3 years.
Hey, good point, John. Because I would see that mortgage statement come in every month in the mail. Like, yo, who's a Loan Depot, baby?
Right, it's got your name on.
Running right to jump on the show.
Yeah, JD.
Musty as ever.
What would you do?
Yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like if that's, I mean, first off, when you're dealing with money, like that's a whole different scenario, a whole different situation, a whole different level of bogusness. I feel horrible that this person allowed this to happen, or was, slipping enough to let something like this happen. But man, like I could see it, especially if he, I mean, like to me, what I see is a person who, it's more malicious in my mind. It's a person who's in a happy relationship and think that this bill needs to be paid, but it doesn't really need to be paid, and they just keeping they pocket in the loot. Like that's how I look at it. Like that's, to me, that's dirty. That's dirty. But if he's, naive enough to fall for it and have it to continue to happen, I guess it's on him for being dumb. But man, like, I mean, I guess somebody could easily pull that wool over their eyes and, and have something like that happen to him.
Yeah. And what else is she doing? You know, it don't just stop there. She's not just collecting money from him for the mortgage that she owns.
Right, John.
There's some other stuff going on.
The finesse game is strong with her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She the Yoda of finessing.
Money is mine.
Yeah, get you, I will.
Bill, you must pay.
How you do not own?
I mean, she probably adds, I will say, she probably taxes a lot more things. Like I said, I never know people's background. Let's say she inherited the house and she feels like, I mean, I inherited the house and it's my house, but I don't know we're going to, I think it shows a bigger underlying problem. Maybe she doesn't think they're going to make it. Maybe he comes on with like, Jesus pieces and she's just trying to get a little something off of him. I don't know.
She's doing a female.
You got another Jesus piece? How much? You know what? We're going to pay this rent.
Hilarious. Boy, you got another Jesus piece? I don't even see you praying. Where's
your damn Bible? Where's the Bible?
You know what? Give me that rent right now. But I just paid you yesterday.
Run that back.
I need October right now.
Okay, we got another daddy situation here, but this one's probably worse. I've been with his dad while me and him was talking. So this is simultaneous for this one. She's rocking with the dad and the son at the same time.
Anybody who says talking is still like under 21. Grown folks don't talk.
No, here's one thing to add.
Me
Oh,
That,
girls who talk like this.
hey,
Now.
Zoe,
25, 30.
that Zoe, and when people say talking, it's translation for sex too. That's how women minimize wording to make it look like they're not the way they're supposed to be. I've seen that so many times, like, oh, we just messed around. And when you break down, it's like, oh, y'all smash. We just talking means we smashing.
Yeah. I hate how they use Tabitha Brown as the meme.
Hey, John, go into that. Yeah, I know you're a big Tabitha Brown fan, man. How you feel about her with her facial expression with this one here?
You know what, man? You know, I got a lot of love for Tabitha Brown because she just spews nothing but positivity and greatness. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. This is definitely an attention grabber right here. Using her, you know, for it. But man, I've been with his dad while me and him was talking. You can tell that came from somebody young. I've been with his dad while me and him.
Yeah, so it's the holy trinity right now, John.
Was talking.
Yeah, man. This is a young one.
Hey, I don't.
Daddy
I don't
probably
put nothing,
35
I don't put
and the
nothing
son
past
17.
anybody at this point. Like I don't like the whole thing with saying like the way that they talk, like you can kind of judge their lingo by that. I can speak to personal experience of somebody who I met recently who is, I'm almost certain that this person is older than me. I'm about to turn 40. And this person, when you speak with them via text, you would think that they were like 15. Like legitimately would think that they're 15.
Yeah.
And like just trying to read it and understand and like knowing all the slang. Like, you know, you think in a professional sort of relationship with someone that they would be able to speak like in a professional manner. No. Like all the abbreviations and stuff. Like you legitimately would think that this person is like 15, 16, barely jumping into high school. But no, they are. I'm pretty sure they're older than me. Pretty sure they are.
So he 45 and his son 35.
Probably. That's the messed up part. Probably.
Hey, shout out to the chat. Farsight says he's gonna need Jesus after this. So I thought you were stronger than this, Farsight. This got you weak in the game, huh, man?
Just don't spend all your money on multiple Jesus pieces.
Right, bro.
So,
yeah. Hey, shout out to Learn Something Worldwide. Glad you joined in the chat. Shout out to K Davis joining in as well. Hey, I'm gonna put a few more on. You know, there are so many jacked up ones. I only grabbed a few of them. So here's the next one here. This one is really wild. I want him to bust in me, but I don't want him to be a single father. She's basically saying, I want that raw dog, but I ain't gonna stay with him if something happens. You might need Jesus for this one, Farsight. Hey, Mike, I haven't heard from you in a while. How do you feel about this one?
Well, you know, as long as they check her temperature, check her, like we had a conversation last time, maybe, well, this is the thing where like she's she's saying all this stuff, then at least know your cycle, know everything that's going about, so you know which at least time that you can actually have it done. But more than likely, she's talking about this during the time that she's like really fertile. So, so in the end, she's with a man that she's giving it up to a man who she doesn't even view as a person that's going to be her like everything. Real true love and stuff like that. So the question here is, you know, she doesn't value herself enough. All right. So if this is a woman that doesn't value herself enough, then treat her like the SO and devaluate her and remove her value. I'm sorry, if this woman is like openly saying all this stuff in a way, you know, being, I don't know, these type of women got some problems. She needs Jesus. Farsight, bless her.
Hey, John, you getting on this?
Bro, I almost think that this person right here had to be trolling, man. I want him to bust in me, but I don't want him to be a single father. I mean, it just sounds wild. It sounds fallacious. I don't even think. I mean, I don't know any women that even think like that. Why would you want a man to bust in?
Because it's a beautiful experience for some women, and you know, there's a lot of women and a lot of guys that wants to do that. A lot of guys,
bro.
Well, I get that, but attached with the second part of it, I want him to bust in me, but I don't want him to be a single father.
She wants to experience the feeling because that's a very sexual thing for her to have that. but she also at the very same time knows that this is not the man that she sees herself with, that she has an opportunity for a future with. So this is one of those here and there dudes, but she wants to experience that whole thing. So,
But but go a little further.
Sure.
What kind of woman would leave their child with the man that they don't want to be with?
No, they're not. She's not saying, the way I take it, I apologize, is she's not going to let him have the child. He's going to be a single father. She still keeps the child, but he's going to be a single father because I'm going to leave him no matter what anyways if he does get me pregnated. That's that's how I took it.
Yeah,
I took it the way John took it, that she was going to have the baby and give it to him.
No, I'm taking it as the issue that we have in the Black community, that so many women would rather be single mothers, baby mamas, than actually wives and be an actual mother in their relationship, because that's actually a big thing where that women don't even think about marriages. They'd rather be the mother first. So how Mike is thinking, I'm thinking the same thing too. It's like, yo, I want this raw, but I ain't gonna marry this dude. He's just gonna be a single father. I'm gonna be a baby mama.
Or she's also thinking the fact that I don't want to have him become the single baby daddy, because he doesn't probably have enough money to support me anyway. So, if you take it to the next level, she doesn't see value in him. That's why she's saying this stuff. She sees his sexual value in it, but doesn't see the fact of the value as a whole man to be with her in the near future in a way.
That makes sense.
So bottom line, her or that person's whole concept of thinking is hot garbage. That's what I get out of that.
Bro, her thing is, it's all about the raw, baby. It's all about that raw. Now, here's one for there's a lot of women. This is for the dudes now on the ratchet one. We only had one ratchet dude, so here's the second one. I used to, out of my wife's hairstylist, doing her hair for 11 years now.
11.
So, Zoe, this is now from a woman's standpoint here. How do you feel about your man doing your hairstylist?
So a couple of things. I think that's a serious violation. One, it is very hard to find a good hairstylist. That man could go anywhere. If a man messes with my hairstylist and my nanny, I may just have to kill him. Like, you could do whatever you want to do, just don't it's very hard to find somebody to do your hair and to watch your kids. Like, it wouldn't even be like the affair. I would just be like, for real? You had to come into this sacred relationship? No. And then, people feel like they even going to somebody else to do your hair, you feel like you've cheated on them. Like, women, we take this seriously. Men too. Y'all go get a fade from somebody else and see what happens to you and your barber. So, I just think that's a low blow. Like, yo, you really can't do that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I get all of that. But I'm thinking that prior to the guy was smashing prior to meeting this woman. That's what I'm thinking. He and that may be the hairstylist's motivation behind, doing her hair that way. She has to be doing a great job because she's been doing it for 11 years. So I think he was smashing prior to, and the hairstylist like, you know what, that guy used to just the dog out of me. So I'm gonna make sure I do this hair right because he did me right. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Here's another question. Maybe the husband is doing the hairstylist so right, the hairstylist want to do the wife's hair right.
Or giving her a steep discount. If that's
like, yo,
the weave is $40
for the price of one. She gets the D and she gets get the hair right done for her girlfriend.
Well, at first she wanted a bigger tip, so she just wanted the tip. So now she got the whole thing. So
tips only.
But do you guys ever think the part where this whole thing is that, typically hairstylists, barbers, those are places where we share our inner stuff, where we share our thoughts, our everything like that. So I actually look at this as the hairstylist being the opportunistic one, because more than likely while the girl's doing her hair, the girl is sharing with her all her problems with her man, so she can actually use that information. She said, oh, she doesn't do this for her man, or her man's always asking for this, but I want her man, so let me go do all this for him, because this girl doesn't even know all the stuff that this man does for her. She can't accept them, so she's probably hoping that eventually she can convert the man to be hers.
She could be.
For 11 years.
11 years later.
There's a lot of women and men that are willing to go through that. I mean, I just saw, thanks to Dave, now I have to freaking download, world star hip hop and stuff like that. And I was watching a video there where this guy was so mad. He was the second dude of the relationship, so he was upset that the girl did not even wink at him when he came across her and the real man. Like, he was so upset that she should have at least winked at me. She should have grabbed my butt when she passed by. He was just pissed. And so I think that some people are willing to stay this long thinking that they're eventually gonna close the deal. And unfortunately, there's also men out there that will promise women, say, don't worry, baby, I'm gonna leave her soon. Next month, next year, 2 years from now. I just have to have the right time to do this. So in
Mike,
a way, I don't know.
That's funny you bring that up. I literally watched a video yesterday from Poor Man's Podcast, and he did a reaction how this one woman, she literally said, I'm just going to wait for one of my 3 or 4 exes to get divorced and try to talk to them when they become available. Play the waiting game. She literally said it out of her own mouth.
See? Both sides
some people play the long game.
That's desperation right there.
That's the long game. They say they playing chess, or maybe it's checkers on that one.
I think a situation like that, it might be easier for that person to hold on to the hope that this person is going to get divorced, the hope that they're going to be able to get with this person, than to actually jump into the dating scene and have to be denied or seen as not being enough. I think it's far easier for that person to just justify by, I'm waiting for this person because they've already been with me, so maybe I can swoop in and get them, as opposed to trying to find somebody new. Like, that to me, that sounds like a person with a whole lot of emotional damage.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, JD. I'm gonna do a few more here because they're wild. And thanks to the chat, I know y'all seeing these and y'all bugging out. This is another guy here. Her nephew might be my son.
Okay, I'm confused really right now because I can't even try to picture what's going on. Her nephew can be my son. Her nephew. So her nephew.
Yeah, he didn't work that right. Her nephew would be.
I don't understand.
That means that he had sex with her sister.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah.
And right. So they're not married. So she thinks that's her nephew, but the sense he's in the background. Like, that might.
So he's doing both sisters.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm slow.
So I think this is not a slash. I think this is common here. I've seen this situation many times.
I mean, if it said my nephew might be my son, I can get that. Her nephew, like that, I don't. Yeah, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that one.
Okay, I got another one here. I got a separate insurance policy on him once I seen how much he was worth. She's off of the bag.
You can't get an insurance for somebody unless he signs it. Is that possible?
People find ways to sign paperwork, Mikey. I've seen some things happen where people say, "Hey, sign this," and they don't know what they're signing.
Because I don't know. Because when I had to go through my whole life insurance stuff, I mean, they took pretty much everything from me, blood, all the good stuff. So I mean,
no, actually, not necessarily, because we just bought life insurance on my brother, and they didn't ask for nothing. All they wanted to check.
Oh, so this is probably one of the
we literally just bought life insurance on my brother a month ago. All they wanted was to check the clear, and then after 30 days it goes, and then it's in effect right now. They didn't check no blood. They didn't talk to none of his doctors, even though he's gravely sick. I didn't think we was gonna be able to get it. So there's ways of getting around that, Mike.
Nationwide is on your side.
This is the big one here, fellas. I used to, my pastor.
But isn't that a normal thing where the
I was gonna say that one is not a shock. At all.
You mess around with your pastor, JD?
What?
You mess around with your pastor? You're not shocked. I just gotta ask,
No, I have not messed around with my pastor.
I mean, your pastor could be a she. We're in 2021, JD. You never know.
But that's
I have not done that. But that's not a shocker. I know plenty of people who have. Plenty.
Zoe, look at that face on Zoe. What'd you think about this one? You're on mute.
Sorry. I'm still amazed that all these people are putting this stuff on the internet like that. Like, it's just really curious to me. People are just bored. But yeah, no, a lot of, I remember just a couple pastors in Chicago off 63rd Street that were real slick. One pastor and a bunch of women, no other men in the church. So not surprised.
But that's what's happening right now that you start seeing is that there's less and less men going to church. And this is where you really are starting to see where technically you have a lot of the pastors, you have a lot of the heads of the clergies actually pushing men away and letting the women hear what they want to hear. And this is a continual thing that's happening right now. And so, you're going to see this more and more. I mean, so if the pastor can drive the men away, there has to be a man that, blesses the women. So there you go.
I figure I stopped the screen share there. We had quite a few. There was more. I mean, this was going on for about a couple hours though. I don't know if you were watching that live as well.
Mm-hmm.
But so these are people who were letting their secrets out the bag. Now, we think that some may be trolling, which we believe, but from that whole session, I know some of these were really real. So before I close this out here, I'm just want to go round robin here. I'll start with Zoe here. How do you feel about these secrets here? And going forward here, do you feel that there are secrets that is okay for you to carry to yourself to the grave, or you think that you're going to be open in your future relationships?
Like I said before, I think that having secrets in your relationship creates roadblocks to communication because you always have to filter it. Something will come up and you'll kind of have to go, oh, I didn't tell him that. And I also think that sometimes the damage that's done, whatever you were trying to guard 15 years later, the damage that's done, people start to question every single thing, whether it's true or not, because you had this lie. So like Mikey said, secrets then become lies. There are some things that I think people have a right to privacy. And it's okay to say to someone, there's some things that may have happened in my family or happened to people around me, or I witnessed certain things and I just don't want to talk about it. And the other person can respect that. But I think that you should still understand that it's okay to tell somebody that you're with, I saw some things when I was growing up and I just don't want to talk about it. If I do talk about it, I talk about it with my therapist, and they will respect that rather than you just walk around having these huge secrets. It is exhausting to do because you always have to filter and censor yourself. So I don't think I would encourage anybody to walk around in their relationship with secrets.
Can respect that. Mike.
Yeah.
How do you feel about secrets going forward? Like, will Mike be in a, here's a question. Will Mike be in a serious relationship in the future? And in this future, will everything be on the table?
Yeah. I'm going to make sure I put everything in the table as much as possible. I think in the end, everyone is accountable to find out what are their roadblocks in a particular relationship. So in a way, if certain things are not going to be, you're not going to allow, then you have to ask that question to the woman. So you have to ask the woman, what's if body count is going to bother you, might as well find out now. Ask all the questions, but at the very same time is if a man is willing to ask those questions, the man better step up first and answer it first before she does. Because if you think that it's going to be a bad thing for you, then cough up and tell her the truth as well. So in the end, yeah, just put everything out, just lay everything out. And what I'm saying is that lay everything out that could be a possibility, a problem in a relationship. Now, there are secrets that need to be kept a little bit. And those are the ones that maybe that affects you mentally. If somebody has been into a very, somebody was abused, sometimes you can't open up right away for that stuff. You have to hold that in and eventually it's up to you to open up. If another person that you're with gets mad at you for not sharing that with them in the beginning, then that person has a problem. There's certain secrets that can be withheld, but I'm talking about the other basic small things, the white lie secrets or the white secrets. Just let those out. And if the other person can't accept that of you, then at least you found out, within the first month rather than years later, and then they use that on you.
Appreciate those comments. And just for the chat, let everybody know that Dr. Zoe had to step away, so we appreciate Zoe for coming on the show tonight. We'll catch her on for the future episodes. We see you learn something worldwide, giving Zoe a compliment. We'll make sure when she get back on the show that she come back and holler at you, saying looking fine tonight, must be relaxing, fresh out the shower. All right. So we appreciate Dr. Zoe Stallings for coming on here. Real fast, I'm gonna go to John. How do you feel about these secrets, bro? You know, going forward, you know, you're gonna be open with everybody. You feel you can hold some things back, you know, or we know it's John to be the man that we know is that open man, that open book to put it all on the table.
Hey man, in the words of Yoda, you know, secrets lead to danger. Danger leads to the dark side. You got to keep that in mind. I mean, some things do not need to be said, period. If those secrets can affect your partner, your significant other in some way, shape, or form, if it's something that they should know, then you got to tell them, man. You have a fiduciary responsibility.
What?
No, a fiduciary responsibility to let your partner know a secret that might jeopardize them and who they are, or compromise them and who they are. For example, if you have an STD and you keeping that in as a secret, and it's something that's life changing, do you need to tell your partner or your significant other? That's a secret that you should not keep.
Hey John, I think every STD is life changing.
I mean, some, what did they say? Some you can.
I think they are life changing.
I mean, I don't know. All I can say is that some of them stay with people, and some of them can be cured. You can only suppress them. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
According to the commercials that I've seen on TV. But anyway, some secrets need to be told. But other things, if it doesn't contribute to your relationship in a positive way, then why even bring it up? You just got to know your partner and know what's important to them and what's not.
Respect, John. Respect. I think that's good enough here for Jazmine Sullivan here. Real fast before we close it out here, I just want to let everybody know that after she was done with this live, she basically came out and says, you know what? I feel sorry for men. Like, there's men memes that were bogus, but she basically said that the women memes were like some of the worst ones out there. And she didn't know, like I said, if she was being trolled or these were true, but some of these were true. And she actually felt that men are getting a raw deal after seeing a lot of these things. And you know what happened? Women came for Jazmine Sullivan and they wanted to cancel her last week after the fact. They were happy and all this stuff was going on. And it's like, no, we don't rock with you no more. So she was like, oh, y'all tripping right now. So it's kind of funny how we have a funny conversation and then she sees one way of it and automatically, a subset of a group of people is like, nah, we don't care about what you got to say anymore. So people are very finicky about that, but they put their business out in the street and saying some crazy stuff and wonder why people have a comment to say on it. So that's my 2 cents on Jazmine Sullivan. She put out some funny stuff, and so we're gonna keep it moving on that. Hopefully, we don't run across any of these type of women or men in our spheres because we don't need that type of negative energy in our circles. Because guys and ladies in the chat, we should all be about getting our bag, being better people, being better for our families, and getting that money and generating that wealth so we all can be on top. Not this janky stuff that people are looking at this ratchet stuff and think that's cool. Because I don't think it's cool. I hope y'all don't think it's cool. That's that dude's 2 cents here. So let's keep it moving. Are we going to do the one thing we talked about earlier, or that's being scrapped, JD and John? Real fast. I had a brain fart. Or do we go on to the one subject that I wanted to talk about?
It all depends on if John was able to find what he needed to read.
Fine. No.
Okay. Well, then we're going to keep it moving. This is live, people. So, this is not scripted. So, we're trying to plan things out. We plan it out. So we're going to keep it moving to the next subject here. I wanted to talk about Kanye West and Drake. They both drop albums, both back-to-back weeks. So we have Kanye with Donda and Drake with Certified Lover Boy. Now, from our conversation, you guys are probably saying, why are we talking about music and Drake and Kanye? Well, they've been beefing for a hot minute. They've been putting lines on their tracks about this person and that person, how they don't like him, exes they've been with, and things of that nature. Sounds very beta to me. Don't you think, Mikey, the way these two are going at it sounds kind of beta-ish? I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching. But I want to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about Kanye and Drake going back and forth like this when they're both rich and they're both rapping about the same thing and it seems like they're just being petty rich cats here? So, JD, you're a music connoisseur. I know you said you didn't hear both albums all the way, but we can just go into the conversation of how do you feel about Drake and Kanye really acting very, I don't know, it's very feminine. When you say,
I wouldn't necessarily say is acting feminine. I would say that it's acting immature. I mean, like you said, these are millionaires arguing about whatever, and I really think that at the end of the day, these dudes really don't care. They don't care enough about each other for this stuff to actually be real. I think one thing that I've noticed in the hip hop industry is that 90% of these beefs, especially the beefs that we had for people who were popular artists when we were young, I think that those beefs are not real. If anything, they're orchestrated. I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye and Drake said, "Hey, let's do this and get this paper together. We can cause a little drama, get some more publicity, and keep it going." I think the young cats these days have changed that. And that's a lot of that stuff is real. Like, you got the bodies to prove it. But this type of stuff, I could care less. I mean, the only thing I care about is if their music is good or not. Kanye hasn't dropped a good album in a decade. So, I hope that this new album is good. I listened to like the first seven tracks, I think. I wasn't able to make it through because I don't really have time to listen to music right now. I haven't touched Drake, but I've heard that it's better than Kanye. I don't know, whatever. But to each his own. But as far as their beef, like, nah, it's fake. It's not real. These dudes, if they saw each other in a club, they wouldn't even mean mug each other. Like, neither of these guys look like they could fight a day in their life. So whatever they saying is going to be kept strictly on wax and to sell albums. Like I said, now some of these young cats, like, they for real about it, and they out here with the bodies to show how real they are about it too. And that's the stuff that disturbs me, is that there's so many of them out there who are, they're beefing and they're actually backing it up with going out and trying to kill people and stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, we talk about Biggie and Pac, but the younger generation has their Biggie and Pac usually, 2 to 3 times a year at this point. So, yeah, Kanye and Drake, I could care less though.
before I go to Mikey and John, I'm gonna go back to the chat here. Farsight, oh Lord, yeah. Oh Lord, yay. Jeff, both albums were mid. Okay, Jeff. And let's see, David Doe for I had beef long ribs. Oh, okay, you talking about food. All right. And Farsight, Farsight, you're gonna get that Drake Suburban Cat. Okay, I feel you there on that. Oh yeah, you said beef is good for business too. That's true. Beef can be good for business. Mikey, are you aware of Drake and Kanye for a little stuff that's going on back and forth in this manosphere right now?
Yeah, it passed by a little bit for me, but like, for my thing, like, I completely agree. It's these guys already know the game. They know that they need to create publicity in order for them to be able to sell stuff. It's a pattern that you see when something's about to be dropped between both of these guys. Something is going to pop off in regards to some sort of, chaos theory, whatever. And in the end, is it going to sell? Yes. Because people are talking about them. Any publicity is good publicity, especially more on the hip hop side of things. Okay, so they're doing their job. And the problem is also, just like what Jeremy was talking about, was the part where these guys have been in the game for so long that they do, in a way, still have a responsibility. But I'm not going to say that it's all on them. But the younger guys will follow what the elders are doing if that's what's going to be something that's profitable for them. And so but then the thing though is it doesn't translate correctly. They actually physically do it, where they don't understand the monetization portion on how Drake or how Kanye handles their business. I mean, so it's unfortunate for both sides. In the end, I don't even bother. I have not even listened to the album. I don't plan to. I could care less. Because the thing though is, when you see this happening all the time, and you still kind of jump into the mix, that just shows that sometimes people are that gullible. And I think people need to start learning and start assessing things more, from the back end of things. But people don't want to. They enjoy the thrill of adding their 2 cents to the whole mix, and it's unfortunate sometimes. But let them be. If they're gonna make their money, I'll give them both respect. Both respect.
Thanks, Mike. Before I go to John, I'm gonna go back to the chat here. If you guys have any questions, again, comments you want to throw to us, hey, post them. We'll go ahead and answer them too as well. If you got anything along this subject, from the past subject, whatever it is that piques your brain, hey, we're here for y'all, because y'all chime in with us. So put it out there and let's see where we go here. So, and also, once again, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. That's the price of admission, because we ain't charging y'all. John, what do you feel about Drake and Kanye keep going back and forth, sound like some 10-year-olds right now?
Man, JD and Mike summed it up. It's a business tactic, man. We've seen it over and over, especially in the hip hop rap game industry. 2 artists, 2 different albums dropping around the same time. What better way to drum up business and generate income other than creating some fictitious beef? And that's what it is. It's fake beef, soy meat.
We're back to soy.
Meat.
Hey, Mike, didn't you tell us that soy is not good for men?
Yeah, it gives you man boobs.
Yeah.
Moobs.
That's how I feel about this.
Hey, say it again here for the men in the chat who may be drinking soy milk. Mike, what is that? Who's one of our healthcare professionals? Say that again.
It gives you moobs. Man boobs.
Do y'all want that? I mean, some of y'all do. Some of y'all may want to do all this all day. Who knows? But I'm just saying, do y'all really want that?
Hey, Dave. While you're saying, some of you guys do want it, and you start grabbing your own breast.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
I'm just saying that. Okay,
yeah.
I thought it was subconscious.
I'm giving the visual.
I thought it was subconscious of yours, and you're like testing it. Do I have some right now? So just want to make sure, man.
Hey, shout out to Adrian Fernandez who just joined the chat. You got some funny stuff coming in. Yes, they are called chesticles.
Yeah.
I got what you want.
You got what you want. How I feel about Kanye and Drake. Honestly, I didn't know how I wanted to approach this at first. I was listening to both albums. Kanye dropped first and Drake, right? And I had a hard time listening to Kanye because, the dude, he's obviously not well for many things that I don't need to go into detail about. We know that he suffers from some sort of mental condition. We don't know the exact. Some say, he has other items. I don't want to speculate on that. But I just know he's not well, so it's been hard for me to listen to his music. But since it's dedicated to his mother, I wanted to, listen to Donda. And it sounded decent. It sounds kind of dated. I prefer Life of Pablo. It has that Life of Pablo feel to it. Like he's in that mode, but it looks like he's stuck like 3 or 4 years ago. So it doesn't sound like groundbreaking Kanye, so I give him credit for still making decent music. It ain't, what's the best word I want to say? It's not prime Kanye anymore. He's still doing what he's doing. And then there's Drake. Drake's in his bag right now. He has a recipe for music he knows how to make. He has certain producers that knows how to make guys and women bob their heads and shake to it. And he has a flow that works. So they're both making that money like we're saying here, right? But these 2 guys could literally make a gang of money together if they just got their feelings, stop acting this way, and work together. Because as much as they're separate and doing this and going back and forth, bickering like a divorced couple or soon to be divorced couple, that's what it looks like. They're about to be divorced the way they're going back and forth at each other. But it doesn't make any sense, right, guys? 2 rich guys just arguing, being in their feelings. Like that's one of Drake's songs, In My Feelings. They just going back and forth. It doesn't make any sense here right now. So I like the music, but just the drama that's going back and forth. And for me, it's not even selling. If the music's hot, the music's hot. But that extra stuff ain't for me, right, John? I ain't with the extra when it comes to the music game. You know what I mean? Just it's funny at times when it's someone like a character like 50 Cent does it, that's his role. But these guys here, they ain't built like that,
Right.
But are you sure that that's not in the mix or the plan in the future?
It could be, Mike. You're right. It could be. But I think there's more money than working together than being separate, even though beef sells. But in this scenario, I think they would make more money together. But, people want to be divided than, together.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to have a announcement of a tour and then all of a sudden people are like all excited. Then right before the tour, then they can go, yeah, I don't like that person. We're not doing a tour anymore. Blah blah blah. I mean, it's publicity. Good PR campaigns. It all starts somewhere.
Let me point to you, fellas, guys. This is the relationship. They had a decent relationship at one time, and then it fell apart. So, could you guys see yourself? I'm gonna go to JD here. Could you see yourself having a relationship with somebody like you were cool if you made money with this person, and then over the years it dissolved to this point right here where that you're taking subliminal shots at each other, like, yeah, I drove by your house and your mailbox looks off keel, stuff, little janky stuff like that. Could you be friends with someone and have this type of beef and keep it going, keep that energy going, JD?
Me personally, I don't have time for that. Like, I barely have enough time for the people that I actually give a darn about. So I'm not gonna be spending extra time, having an issue with someone and prolonging that issue over the course of multiple years at this point. Like, I mean, like I said, if this situation was me, I just wouldn't have nothing to say. Like, I'm one of the worst people. Like, once I get to a point, like if I debate you and I go back and forth with you, like, it should be a privilege, because that means I give a darn about you and I want to discuss with you. I want to converse with you. But when it gets to the point where I stop talking, like, I'm done. And if there's a person who is insulting towards me, or to somebody in my family or something like that, you just won't ever hear from me again. Like, I much rather deal with people like that. And I also find that it burns people a whole lot more when you just quit responding. So I think a lot of people are easily baited. I think that's what social media has done to everyone at this point. They look for those situations where they can be baited into something, and to get into those disagreements and those conflicts. That's definitely not something I'm going to entertain myself with at all. It's much easier for me to just ignore. But yeah, like I said, with this situation on, these guys 100% talked before this and said, like, oh man, yeah, drop that song that you wrote about me, or write a song about me. Let's see where it goes. Let's see how hot we can blow this up. Because at the end of the day, or even if it isn't like directly spoken, it's not like this is a real situation. These dudes, if they saw each other in a club, I'm sure they would hug it out and say what's up. They might be behind the cameras or whatever, but I'm sure that they'd be okay. It's not like Kanye would say, on site. Like, I know some people that definitely are on site, but they definitely aren't.
Nah, these ain't on site cats. Hey, shout out to Adrian Fernandez. He's John and JD. I think you appreciate his comments there. He said, look at 3-6 Mafia and Bone Thugs. Oh, hold on here. I lost my string here. JD had just entered another thing. It's that okay. Thanks, JD. You put on the screen here. Now they got 2 albums together, and DJ Paul does beats for them. Good point there, Adrian. They're making that money. Get into the bag. So this beefing is not leading to collaborative albums, even though they're breaking records. They could be breaking records together. Shout out to David Doe. Farsight, that Kardashian effect. Interesting. Mikey, what you think about that? Do you have any energy for someone to keep that beef going on like that, the way they're going right now? Do you have anybody in the past, they say, you know what, you just going back and forth like this? Or you just said, nah, I ain't here for the energy?
When I was younger, I guess, yeah. But I mean, it gets to the point, like, you have to realize that the people that you're with, that, is going to be different than the people that you were with when you were 0 to 100 is going to be different if you want to grow from making 100K to 200K. Like, because there are going to be people that's going to hold you back. So you have to just keep the right people around you. And I mean, I've had people, like, it's funny, like back in the days, people, when you say you want to do something, like, opening up a business, you're going to have a bunch of guys that are going to be like, nah, don't do that. It's, blah, blah, blah. They're going to say that stuff. And then you open one up, and then they see that you start, you bought a house, you bought a better car. And then all of a sudden they're going to do the same thing that you're doing, and then what happens is you end up beefing with them because they're like, now they try to put you down. I've had it happen several times in different types of business that I've done. But the thing though is you just have to let those people be, because those people are just bad people. And if you respond to someone who does that, who's trying to be negative towards you, you're just poisoning yourself. I mean, there's this book that was written a while back. I forgot what the book was, where if you add poison to poison, you're the one that's going to die, not the person that created it. So just let him be. And I agree. Sometimes the best way is not to respond. And those guys are going to implode on themselves, because they need that for them to survive, because they're so toxic and so poisonous that they need to actually give it to someone else, or else they're going to die. It's like that evil spirit in them. They have to release it to somebody else, because if it remains inside them, they're going to die. And so if they're able to let it out to someone, they did their job, and you just let those people be,
Facts. I appreciate that. John, I already know. I know I'm asking this question because it would be remiss to even ask to. I already know the answer, but do you have anybody in your past you have that kind of energy with? Like, were you Kanye and did you have a Drake? Or were you Drake and someone was Kanye? I mean, in your Johnny Dangerous-ism, and you just kept going back. Maybe you were Dangerous and he was Weak, his last name. I don't know. I'm just curious, but your thought on this one, your reaction. That happened to you in the past.
You know what? Probably not the same as Drake and Kanye. When you think about those, well, particularly Kanye. Kanye has an ego. He made a song called "I Got a Big Ego," right? He meant that. We talk about them collaborating and all of that. Kanye collaborated with Jay-Z. Him and Jay-Z used to have a certain type of relationship to where I think Kanye made room for Jay-Z within his ego to create that. And he knew it was going to be fire. But Kanye feels like he's so talented that he wouldn't even share 50-50, a platform 50-50 with anybody else at this point. That's just my opinion. Unless he absolutely had to where he wasn't drumming up the type of business, the revenue, the numbers that he needs in order to continue to thrive in the industry that he's in. I don't think he would volunteer to collab with anybody. But going back to your original question, as far as me, man, I try to remain humble. I try to have humility. I try not to, and this has been for a long time too, give energy or life to anyone or anything that is not going to be progressive. You know what I'm saying? It's going to produce something positive in the long run. So I'm sure I beef with people, I'm sure, but I'm so forward thinking that I can't think back on who it was or when it was that I had beef with. Going back to what JD said, man, I believe in cutting people off, man. That's the best way to deal with that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? I have a bubble. I operate within that bubble. I let you in that bubble. You're a part of my circle. If you outside of that, man, I really could care less what you're doing, who you're doing it with. You know what I'm saying? Just don't try to bust my bubble. Don't try to come into my sphere without a pass, without an invitation. You know what I'm saying? And then we all good. But what you do is what you do. I'm too old for games. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm young at heart, man, life is too precious to be beefing with people over something that's not going to produce anything positive. Grown men discuss things out. That's the best way. Grab that bull by the horn and look him in the eyes and discuss that thing and move forward. That's what I do.
Man, that's you spin bars there again, John. That's some stuff. Reason why I wanted to bring this up, I didn't want this to be a long deep dive here, about it. Anybody there on time can go ahead and check out Nanda or Certified Lover Boy. I like the Drake track. He got a couple of joints on there that, and when I get in the Beamer, I turn that sucker all the way up a couple of tracks and that bass be bumping. People look next to me and like, yeah, I don't care. It's Drake and it's bumping. It's hard. I don't care. I'm a music connoisseur. At the end of the day, I brought it up because everything in life is based on relationships. We're talking about relationships, whether you're dating, but we're talking about this is a business relationship. And also it used to be a friendship. And friendships come and friendships go, relationships go and relationships come and go. But at the point of impacting other relationships and impacting your bag, is it really worth it to go back and forth like this? They're both rich. They're both millionaires. Hey, Kanye's a billionaire now. Depending on if he's 1 billion or 3 billion, you know, he's capping on the extra, but he makes you want to make sure you got that B on. The fact that they're both rich, but these guys, what do rich people want? To be more rich and more powerful. And so sometimes you try to stomp out your own competition. But what happens when you can't stomp out the competition? Because that man's your equal. You're going to go back and forth and destroy each other, or you're going to work together to get the bag and then make your kingdom even grow even bigger. That's what they're not seeing here. Drake's in his bag right now. It's like, yo, I already broke Kanye's record. And he's going to keep getting his money. And he's the younger guy. He's going to keep chabbing at the older fighter, technically. But at the end of the day, and this is for everybody here, if we just use our mind and our resources to like, yo, it ain't worth it, or find that person to be your ally so you too can get to the next part and get to that bag. It ain't worth it. And it may be funny in files when we get on the gossip sites. But, you know, we don't want anything to be crazy to happen. Then was like, oh, man, that was just messed up how that happened, you know, especially with someone who has a mental illness like Kanye. So that's just my couple of words I want to say on that. It ain't worth it. They could be making more money. Beef generates money, but collaborations and harmony gets more money. That's just facts, people. I just have to say that and on that. So, oh man, let me go to JD, Mikey, and John. We're gonna close this show out. Shout out to the chat here. Do you guys have any final words? Let's go to Mikey here. You got any final words for tonight, man?
No, not really. I mean, like in the end, it's just, you know, you want to live a life of peace. You know what I'm saying? You want to live a life of peace. And every now and then you're going to have to flex a little bit when you have to, but you have to learn when to flex or when not to, you know, and the smartest people are not, you know, the strongest people are not the ones who get into trouble, but know how to be able to avoid trouble instead. And so my thing is just avoid it. Avoid as much as possible, no matter what. Even if people calls you a wuss, you know, and any of that stuff, because you're not willing to, you know, counter somebody when they're dissing you, then it's perfectly fine, you know, because in the end, if you put yourself in that situation, that if both you and the other guy really means it, that you guys are going at each other and you guys come across each other, eventually what ends up happening is somebody becomes the bitch. So in the end, my thing is just walk away. It's probably the best thing ever. Just walk away if it's not in your realm of things. You know, defend your home, but there's no sense in dealing with these type of people. You know, you just let it be.
Like that. JD, got anything to close us out, man?
The only time a beef is beneficial to a party is when you have one person trying to get something that the other person has. That's the only time a beef should be beneficial. And I'm not talking about like an actual like street beef with somebody. I'm talking about in like the musical sense, or like an entertainer or something like that. Like that's when it makes sense. Like when we were going to Claudia Jordan, that was beef because, you know, we were trying to ascend to a certain spot. Like I don't think that beef is like when you have people who are equals and they're beefing, it's either fake or they're both stupid. Damn. Bottom line, it's either fake or they're both dumb, because if you both got it already, what do you even have how do you even have time to beef with somebody who is your equal? If they're right there with you, how do you even have time to beef with somebody? And if they're below you, why would I even make time to beef with you? So like that makes no sense. Like I can get the beef from somebody who's trying to ascend upward, but if they're equal to you, it makes no sense. And if you're above them, you're stupid.
Thanks, JD. Shout out to Adrian Fernandez. Man, you going hard in the chat right now. Tom Young John 3. What up? Then Cicini joined the chat late here. That's what's going on. More people coming in here. John, beef. Are you grilling it up, or you know you gonna rock with it?
Nah, I'd rather just get some takeout. I ain't grilling that up. But you know, listening to JD, you know, about the whole beef thing, it makes me wonder. You know, right now you got Lil Boosie, right, and Lil Nas X beefing. Who's on top? Who's on bottom?
Pun intended.
Well, didn't Boosie get Nas? Didn't Boosie got Nas X pregnant or something? So we know who the bottom is.
Hey, man.
Hey, if Boosie hear you that, Mike, you gonna be in trouble. Boosie's gonna fly to see you, man.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't too far. He ain't too far from Florida.
Yeah, you said it, I did.
Shout out to Boosie. He gonna get you, Mike.
Hey, bottom line, when
I don't even know who he is. Like I don't even know who he is. I didn't even know who
Boosie don't care, Mike.
I didn't even know who Nas X was until I was like when we were working on some thumbnails. I was like, who's this dude? I was like, all right, let me look him up, and I'm just like, what? He gay? I was like, what? He's giving up his gayness now. He's back to cowboy. What? I don't get it. I was like,
cowboy.
How can you go from gay to stop gayness and become a be your cowboy self? Like, I don't know. Anyways, moving on for that one. I'm just saying, don't make sense to me.
That's a whole other show right there. But Boosie might have something to say to you about that, Mike. He don't play that. Yeah, man. Hey, bottom line though, you get to a certain point in life, man, and for me, as I got older, I just realized that life is very precious, and time is very valuable, and what you do with your life and your time should mean something. It should have some type of value to you, and the more energy you put towards negativity, that leaves less room for your growth and the success of others who are attached to you. So, you know what I'm saying? For me, the only kind of beef I'm really trying to deal with is, prime rib, or you know what I'm saying, that ribeye steak, I'm
off that Kobe life nowadays.
Yeah, that Kobe beef.
Man.
It's banging.
That A5 Wagyu,
Whole
what
nother
you about that A5, yo? That's love.
That 30-day age.
Ooh, real fast here. Adrian is asking, who's the better rapper, Boosie or Webby?
Oh man, damn.
I'd have to say Boosie.
John,
I have to say Boosie.
Boosie or Webby?
I'm gonna say Boosie too. I'm more of a Boosie fan, man. I just like.
I shouldn't ask Mike this one because you didn't know who Boosie was before, right?
I have no clue.
All right, Mikey has no clue. Y'all going with Boosie? I'm going with Boosie.
What's up with the names nowadays of rappers though? Boosie, yeah.
He ain't new. He been Boosie since he was Boosie.
Hey, Boosie gonna come see you, Mike.
Yeah,
Boosie, Webby. I drink blood. It's in my shoe. Nas X, whatever. What the fuck? I mean, whatever happened to like real rappers back in the days? I'm just saying.
Rap name, what's the real rap name? Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane. John, I was gonna say Big Daddy Kane. You beat me to it.
I'm like, come on.
Big Daddy Kane. That's
I was thinking Big Daddy Kane. That's a real name.
And what? Okay, what's this whole like notion of everybody now? And this is why I'm so confused when I like hear rappers now. It's like, why? Back in the days, it was all about big, right? Big Daddy Kane. Like you wanna, but now it's like, I'm little Boosie. I'm little this. I'm little that. Little. You know what? Because what? I don't know. I'm just saying, man. I'm not even gonna bother. I don't even bother for that.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
It's like it's all like because the younger you are, the better you sell, right? Maybe maybe I don't know. Maybe they want them guys with the alternative lifestyle from Hotlanta be like buying their records and stuff like that. Yes, I love me some little man. I'm just.
Dang. I ain't got nothing to say about that.
Wow. You left me speeches on that one, Mike. I wasn't expecting that. As always, guys, click on like, subscribe, and the bell notification for Jump Off Live. We are live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can catch us here on YouTube and all other formats. Also want to pose to the ladies. I didn't say it yet. For any ladies who want to cam up and want to get in these discussions, whatever the topic is, or if you heard old conversations, old shows, and you want to cam up and jump on, we talked about it. We'll talk about it with you. This open invitation for the ladies only, because we're a male-dominated show and we have our perspective. So we want to hear what y'all got to say if y'all interested instead of just chatting right now. So going forward, like I mentioned this before, in the future weeks, you can send us an email. You know, most of us here, you want to send us a text message, you want to get on, Boom, we got y'all. So that's open invitation for the ladies, for everybody in the chat. I just want to send a last shot to Adrian, David, Dole, Farsight. Who else is in here? Man, I'm scrolling back. JR, you know, your Tom Youngjohn came in late. You know, I'm scrolling back up here. Who else is here? We got DB. Oh, DB came in late. Sorry, I didn't say nothing to you, D. I don't know who you are. If you relate to someone else here, much love for coming into the chat late here. Adrian says later haters. So on that note, fellas, we're going to close the show out here. This was a great discussion here, talking about secrets and about Drake and Kanye. We'll be back next week. So for Jump Off Live, I have Johnny Dangerous, I have JD, Mikey, for Zoe and Jeff Smith, who was not with us tonight. I'm that dude named Dave, and we are out to next.